Okay, so I'm going to do something a bit different today. I'm going to talk about teaching will, be going to, the present continuous and future continuous. Basically, this is the way I've sort of tried to distinguish between those four types of future. Yes, future, present continuous. I said that correctly. Didn't mean to blow your mind there. Basically, let's start with will and be going to. So, will and be going to. I think for native speakers, this is probably, well, they're all fairly difficult, but will and be going to distinguish the difference between I will go out with my friends, I'm going to go out with my friends, and it will rain or it's going to rain. I think that can be quite complicated. So, let's try and break it down a little bit. So, we've got, first of all, what you're going to do, basically your plans or your intentions, what you say you are going to do. And will and be going to can be used for both of those, When do we use will? Well, will tends to be like spontaneous decisions and promises. That's how they tend to explain it, at least. And I think we can explain that to a degree. So it would be, for example, if you're in the classroom and all your students say that they're dying of the heat, you would say, oh, okay, I'll open the door. No, I'll open the door. I will open the door. It's a decision that you have just made. And I think that's the general idea there. However, if someone sees you walking towards the door and they ask, where are you going? You can say, I'm going to open the door. It's a decision I've already made, and I'm going to do it. I'm following through. So that's the difference there with your plans. And yeah, okay, so another example might be you go to a cafe with a friend, and it's a cafe you haven't been to before, for example. I'm quickly trying to construct a context here. And your friend says, what would you like? And you'll say, well, I think I'll have a cappuccino. And you think that's kind of like a spontaneous decision. However, if you say to your friend, oh, I don't know what to order, what are you going to order? You want to know what intention he has that, and your friend, they're all confident, I know this place. I'm going to order a macchiato. And that's what you would say when you've already made the decision, And again, okay, it's a little bit difficult to distinguish between the two. And, well, imagine if you're not native. But you need that explanation anyway. It's basically that. Spontaneous decisions versus a plan that's already made. Also with promises, we use will, So when you say, someone says, oh, you've got to do your homework, and you say, yeah, I will. I'll do it later. I'll call you later, I promise you. And another example is when you see somebody struggling with something heavy, you'll say, leave it, I'll do it, I'll take it. So you say something like that. Again, it's like a spontaneous decision. Anyway, going to and will can also be used for predictions. And again, so maybe not so much spontaneous and planned. However, there is some kind of similarity there. And it's basically that will would be used for a prediction based on what we think, And going to more when we have evidence, or at least that's the way most textbooks explain it. So you might say something like this, like a friend might say, I'm going to have a party. It's my birthday this weekend, and I'm having a party in the open. We're going to have it in my garden, and you'd say, you'll see, it'll rain. It will rain, because you're a pessimist. Because that's what you think will happen. However, if the birthday party is tomorrow, and you've looked at the weather report, and you're just a concerned citizen, you might say, it's going to rain. Look at those clouds. Have you seen the weather? Have you seen the weather report? Have you seen the forecast? It's going to rain. Yeah, so that would be the difference there. When I've got evidence, I'll use going to, but if not, I'll just sort of say as I think with will. And okay, that can be a little bit difficult because they also say things like this in the textbook. They say, oh, we use a lot these words like think and bet and with will. No, because it's your opinion, and you say, I think I will do this, I think it will rain tomorrow. But all native people know that you can say, I think it's going to rain tomorrow. I bet it's going to rain tomorrow. Think and bet kind of supersede the fact that you're using will or be going to. So maybe shy away from that explanation. I think I've probably used that a couple of times and then quickly realized that, what am I saying? Anyway, let's move on to present continuous. Present continuous can be used for the future, as I'm sure you all know, and this can be quite confusing, as I'm sure you all know. Well, certainly anyone who's tried to teach it to non-natives, they're going to find it very difficult because basically, well, first of all, there's the explanation that we give them from a very young age that present continuous is to explain what is happening right now. And we really hammer that into them. We drill them with that. It's what happens, what is happening right now. So I am speaking into the camera. You are listening to me. And then we kind of, as they get a bit older, we give them access to some slightly higher level stuff, which is the fact that it can be describing a current situation. No, not exactly what's happening now, but something that's happening around now. No, so I am working in that academy. I am living with my friend. Okay, so that kind of thing kind of makes sense. So I mean, I teach in Spain, and in Spanish, yeah, that makes sense. No, they don't always use that tense to say what's happening now. They can just use sort of simple tenses. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It makes sense if you explain it like that in a lot of languages, yeah? The problem is when we use it for future, so that doesn't make so much sense. No, the fact that we use it for future to say, I'm working tomorrow, I'm playing a match on Saturday, that kind of confuses people. So what you need to explain to them is that, present continuous, we will use it for future events that are planned, programmed, and cannot be changed. No, so I'm leaving tomorrow at 6 o'clock. That is a definite plan. It's something I've called the taxi. It's coming to pick me up. It's taking me to the airport. Yeah, all of those things. It's coming at 6 o'clock. It's taking me to the airport. Yeah, all in present continuous to say what is happening tomorrow. No, and we use it a lot to sort of talk about things that we can't get out of. And so working is a good example. And another one might be things like, hey, are you free at the weekend? Oh no, I'm celebrating my anniversary with the wife. So something like that. Simpsons reference there. Anyway, so yeah, we'll use it for things like that. No, basically things that we can't get out of, plans that have been programmed and all of that kind of thing. The rain's getting heavier here, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me. Anyway, that's what we'll use present continuous for in the future. All right. The last one I'm going to talk about today is the future continuous, and this one translates pretty well when we use it correctly in English. So when we talk about what will be happening at a certain moment or over a certain period of time in the future, then there doesn't seem to be too many problems because it seems to translate pretty well. So you say, don't call me at 10 o'clock, I will be having dinner. Don't call me at 10 o'clock, I will be having dinner. Okay, that makes sense, and most people can understand that. Certainly if you translate it into Spanish, at least, it works pretty well. But there is a problem. So we use this will be plus ing in the main verb. We use it in a very strange context. So for example, we say, oh, hurry up, the shop will be closing at 10. I'm going to parents' evening this evening, and I'm going to be asking them, I will be asking them what you've been doing, and they'll be telling me everything you've been doing wrong this this last couple of months. So that kind of thing is quite hard to understand, because it's not necessarily something that's going to be happening over a period of time in the future. It's just something that's going to happen. No, it's something that will happen. It's something that you are sure is going to happen. And that's the only reason, that's the only way you need to explain it, really. Okay, so we use it in the literal sense of what will be happening at a given time in the future, but we also use it just to say things that we're sure are going to happen. No, the shop will be closing at 10. You need to get there fast. I will be speaking to your, I'll be speaking to your parents? No. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll be speaking to your parents. I'll be speaking to your parents about you. When we could just say I'm going to speak to your parents. No? But anyway, so there are 4 future forms kind of aimed at B1 intermediate kind of level students, and I think that's the way I would distinguish those 4. I hope this has been helpful.